Okay, so you don't have to wait for the complete scan. Autopsy does allow you to examine some of the results as it found some of the results in the case. So for your image, it's going to start populating the directory on the left, and you will be able to see, and keep in mind that it's still being updated. So what you see there is incomplete until the scan is done. Also in your Android zip folder, if there are other subfolder, the content inside that, it examines everything in that folder. So the lengthy part is if you have additional file that is not meant to be there, sometimes that could take extra time. So just make sure your data source is pretty clean. I didn't take a look at that at the beginning, but you should, okay, in the future. Okay, so you can provide the screenshot as it's scanning like this. So I started populating. When it's complete, it should show you that in the status right here that is completed. I'm still running quite a bit. It's only complete one part of the logical set. So it's still working on building some of the other things. So you can screenshot that as it is, or you can wait until it's finished. Now, on the left-hand side, you would be able to see some call logs, and keep in mind that the application has changed over time. So it might be named a little bit different. So under your data artifacts, you would have the call logs, right? And then you can start with looking at the call logs. So it gives you the timestamp and the phone number. So for the outgoing or the incoming, right? So there are 14 calls that were made based on the assessment, and you can have it sorted with the start time. You can also have it sorted by phone number if you need to search it that way. I'm going to leave it as it is right now, and then I would be able to answer the question. So you can see based on the number that it's discovered here, we have 14 calls that were made. And then what's the earliest coming call? So if you want to sort it, you can simply click this right here, right? Or you can manually determine that. And then we can do ascending or descending. So if you're looking at the chronological order of the time and the date, you can set it up that way. So January 31st, that was the earliest, right? And then you have like 316, and it shows the phone number. So do you see if you have an app that's being used for the phone? So this one, it basically just used the phone mode to do that. Another way that you can try to see if, if there are under the communication account, you can also examine, phone, and it's going to list like various things like text messages and then phone number, etc. So that way you can also explore more. If you don't find any apps that's being used to make the phone call, you can just put none.
Yeah, the call logs doesn't pop up on mine. I just pop here.
Yeah, so you have to wait for that to populate. Make sure that your data source is from the extracted zip folder, not the zip folder itself. So if you add your data source as a zip, you probably won't be able to get much. Okay, so as we look at these, you should be able to see the call logs, and I'm at least an hour in since I started, or a little bit more than an hour and a half. So, you got to give it time for it to populate. So we will be able to see when's the earliest call, when is the latest call, and then you would be able to look into communication accounts. So in autopsy, communication accounts is going to give you phone call account and also other form of communication account. So when we come back to here, under communication account right now, it gives me 22. There's the device, and then there's 7 for the phone. You can also explore the type of install programs. So it shows that there's Tyco, YouTube, there's, different type of app that was being used. There's also Discord, Tor, Instagram, of course, Google, because it's a Google Pixel. Not yet. Yeah, I think sometimes they categorize that differently. And it could also be a different version of the software too. So you can try web accounts. Web account list is WhatsApp, Silent Circle, there's Telegram, Skype, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, Gmail is under the web accounts, Trisha. I see it. So if you're looking for email account, they probably removed the folder called email. It's under your web accounts. And in your web accounts, you would see their Gmail account. The user ID is listed there. Also, the account for Twitter. So for number 28, make sure you click web accounts on the left. And then on there, just pay attention to which app, and you would be able to see. So for example, right, Gmail, you can also Twitter, right? You can scroll up or scroll down. There's also WhatsApp, and when you click on it, it should be able to display something on the bottom. There's also Duo. So it looks like Viber was being used to make phone call. You know how we had that question earlier? Under the call logs, it doesn't show that, but under the web accounts, it shows Viber was used as voice over IP to call out to that 919 number. Let's see what other. And then Telegram Messenger was also used to make a phone call. So you can see that on your web accounts. Yep.
After this physical again,
I'm sorry.
for 7, let's see. Let's have an absence baseball.
Yeah, so go to web accounts. I'll put a note. Click on the web accounts on the right below it, the call logs under metadata. And then if you scroll down, if you see a number, a phone number, that means, and then it would tell you the app. So, sorry. Right? I show Viber, VIBER. Also, yeah, Viber was used a couple of times. They also have TikTok account, it shows. Telegram Messenger was used to make phone calls as well. I want to say WhatsApp, but it doesn't list it under the call logs though. Let me check. Yeah, it only shows that they use a regular call from the phone. Yeah. If you find applications, yeah, it's probably because sometimes it relates to the data, but yeah, I see they got TikTok. They use TikTok user ID, but for a different app, Zilia, right? Because you can use OAuth to be able to do that. You can authenticate in one app and then be able to utilize that in another web app, right? And then if you click on the web accounts, you would find the account for Gmail and Google. Yeah, they have dual. So that means that they're using their Google account for dual. There's Twitter. Yep. I saw that earlier. So for 27, if you go to call logs right here, there should be 14 calls.
What type of app I use to break call? Wait, did we find it?
Yeah, so the earliest incoming call. So you can sort it by clicking this right here, date and times. So the earliest is January 31st at 3:16 Pacific time.
Can we see the number? Number C, character C. What type of app I use?
Yeah, so you have to go to the web app. So go down to web account. And then the ones that you have C with the number. So it looks like Telegram Messenger was used to make phone call. Viber was used to make phone call, and that's under web accounts. Yeah, they used to have it under the call logs, but I think Autopsy has changed some of that. There used to be an option right here that you can see which app, but they had modified that. So if you click on web accounts and you scroll down, you would see it right here, Viber. So it looks like Viber, Telegram Messenger. Yeah, those are the two. So I'll put a note here. See web accounts folder and find phone number. Okay, so for C, make sure you check web accounts. You should be able to find if there's a Facebook or Instagram account or a Facebook right now Meta account. Do you see if there's a WhatsApp account? And then yeah, there's no longer an email folder on this version of your autopsy. In the past there was. So it would only be in the web app. So they modified this a little bit. So you're gonna use. I'm sorry? Yeah. Or for 28? Yeah, you need to see web accounts. And you would be able to find the email accounts, like Gmail. So for 28 and 29, look at your web accounts. So you're gonna see how you only have one here. It's gonna be 100 or 14. Yeah. So until then, so. Okay. So wait until it populates a little bit more so you can examine. So for 29, you can, there used to be an email folder, but it's no longer like that on the system, on the software. So the Gmail, you should see the Gmail account. That helps you answer 28, okay? Um, and then if you want to get its account value, let me see if I can expand it. I just don't. You can pull this up a little bit. So let's say that if you're examining the Gmail account, you click on it, right? The password that you see here is encrypted password anyway. And it uses OAuth, so auth tokens there. Yeah, so for your user ID, I guess account ID, you just have to put down the user ID, which is technically not the same. But in the past, they actually give you the Gmail account ID. You remember we talked about that? That's like a string of number that's used for that particular mailbox. Yeah, you don't necessarily find that in this version of the software anymore, right? So you can just put in the user ID information for 29. And then the account type, you already know that that's a Gmail. This one?
You go to messages to see like that outgoing messages to specific.
Or I have you look for that 917 number, isn't it? Yeah, if they're using an app for some time. So that one, it says, here's the signal. You're able to read some of it. No, because there's TikTok verification, Microsoft security code, Facebook confirmation code, wire code, Wicker. So I think it's only the beginning messages. Yeah, you're right. I think right now, so the text, if you scroll right, it gives you all the text information right here. You don't have to click it individually. Yeah. So the phone number, it gives you the ID only. Maybe because it's not done. When it's done, it should show. But I think the plain text messages is typically to that 919 number. Done? Bye. Bye. You're welcome. I'm sorry?
After 44, I don't think you can keep going unless it's down. The whole, how many child abuse materials are found? It says that the ingest is still going on.
Yeah, it's probably 2+ hours that it's gonna probably have. So just record what you currently have is okay. Yeah, so for the messages record, let me see. If you click on phone, you would be able to see the ID. But to read the messages, you gotta go to the messages. Okay. So on the phone, it only lists like which phone number was communicated. And then if you want to see what text messages or multimedia messages content, you have to go to messages. So the phone number might show up like this, which is not what you see in the phone necessarily, right? In the messages, it's just addresses that's for the actual device. So you don't have you might not have the phone number that's listed. Okay, so we will be able to find Gmail and Twitter after like at least 30 minutes or so. And then for the bookmark, let me see. You can go to bookmark. I only show one, which is to nist.gov. Then you can also find cookies. So we can sort it by the most recent access. So for 36, you can use date created tab to sort. I think it says instead of date created, it should be date access. Let me see if there's a created tab. Oh yeah, there is. Click date created tab. So scroll right to see it. And so that will be so this is ascending. So if you want to sort it again, you can do descending. So on Valentine's Day in 2020, you would see some of the recent websites. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to sort it again to see if we can find some shopping information. So we can go date created. Right, I think I already have it on descending. Do you need help? Which one are you looking for?
Still waiting for it to populate.
Oh, really? Okay. When you start to see, like, at least if it shows one or a few, then that's not enough, right? You should have. Kai, which one did you need? Did you find 27?
How about 33?
33?
Yeah. Use just ID and
Yeah, for the Gmail user ID?
just
Yeah, that's right. So web accounts, that's the user ID right there.
that's just ID and we didn't see this.
You haven't, it's not populated for you there?
It's not.
Okay, not yet, maybe.
Weird. Oh, it is.
Okay, let's see for web history. Web history. We can go date created. So it looks like they joined Facebook on January 29th. They added a picture on the same day. Looks like at 5:50 p.m. Pacific Standard. So you know how you have to answer that question. So under web history, you will be able to see if they have access shopping, like what we talked about in the lecture. So they added a picture to Facebook. They added 2 times. Actually, it shows 2 entry, but it's probably just 1. There's Google Shopping on February 1st. They added friends on Facebook on the 29th. Okay. So web history is going to show you shopping history and social media history. For web search, looks like a map search or an address location search, direction to direction search. It says send message. So I have an address already. Right? Remember where we have to solve where they are in the world? Right? So it looks like there is direction to a location in North Carolina. That's under your web search. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they're there, right? They're trying to get to that location. No, you can just put the city. It's Holy Springs. But I think you can also find geolocation. So I don't have data for geolocation yet. See? If you if if you have EXIF that has geolocation tag, you can click on it and it will pinpoint where you are. So we might not have, if they don't turn on their geolocation on their smart devices, it won't do it. But then you're gonna have to track to see if they have some kind of metadata or a location search like this. So they have a location search for North Carolina. So we know that they might be physically somewhere in North Carolina. But it could also be that they're just searching for that location. Like sometime I'm looking at location in a different country, right? Because I'm just curious. And then there's another location. There's direction for Pearlfoyle Road. So you should be able to answer 38. How many web searches did they make? Oops. I show 6 right now. It's been at 6 for a while. And then there are 2 search for direction. One is for Sir Walter Coffee in Holy Spring, North Carolina. And then the second direction search is for Purfoy Road in Fuquay Marina. I don't know if I said that right. Fuquay? You know, they changed the image for this. It used to be a different image. So they had taken out some of the content for this image, I guess. Yeah, so they're all screenshot actually. In metadata, you only get one right, one hit. So if you go to where did I go? There's an images option. It's under files. Go to file types under by extension. And if you click on images, it carved out the 4 images. They're all like screenshots anyways. Yeah. Like I said, they had modified this Android image because I did this, and if you watch my video from last year, you see that we actually have different images on it, but it could be different also mobile devices that they capture. But anyway, so under the file types, you can find images. And then you can also find file metadata maybe if it doesn't have it. So none of these really have much file metadata. Right? It only gives you the size, some internal ID information. So for this one, click file types, and then go to by extension, and then go to images. Do you have a question? So if you're unable to answer 40B, right? So the point is to examine the image. If this is a screenshot, you probably won't have a camera use. So if you take your phone and you take a picture of something with the camera, it's going to put that into a metadata. Okay? And on that property sheet, you should be able to find that information. So it's okay if you don't have, I don't know. What did I do? It's okay if you don't have the answer for 4dB, right? What device camera was used to take a photo? Well, it's a screenshot, so just the screenshot for the phone itself, right? And if for the, yeah, I don't have any kind of timeline for these. So it doesn't have the Mac time for the screenshots. They're all 0. At least for now. Let me see what I modify here. Okay. Okay, so if you don't find the information for the image file, that's okay. What is shown on the and then if you don't have the Mac time, because for me, I only have like everything 0, so that it doesn't have a Mac time for the images. There's no video or audio files. In the next section, it asks you to go to user content suspected. So I think the modification for this, if you are working on the last part of this, right? In the images of video, and then you can see there are categories of child abuse and child exploitative. So once you click at the top to go to image, video, and gallery, you would see these right here. So likely that you won't have any files here, but we always check here in case it pulls content that would match the rules for these, right? So you can find them and it will list the files that would match these rules, these category. So right now I have none, which is good. I'm not able to access geolocation any longer. Right? It's not, because that means that the device did not have geolocation turn up. It's not enabled, so it's not able to track. The only way that we know that they might, based on the address search, perhaps, none of the exit metadata tells us where they are in the world, actually. Yeah, that one is gone. The folder that they used to have, you just go to file extensions and then click on the fourth file. For 42? So go to file by file types and then by extension. Yeah, I don't have Mac time for the fourth file either for number 42. If you look at the images, yeah, I only have, yeah, my Mac time shows all 0. It shows like a different screenshot, but all 0. Under file metadata, there's no Mac time. So when we do the drug dealer case, it's a little easier. So you kind of get the drift on what kind of information you need to look for. In this particular image, I don't have a geo pinpoint, so I used to last year, different image, but on this one, we don't know. We're assuming that they might be in North Carolina based on the address search. So this would be no location. So now let's see if we can map it by timeline. I think we talked about this a while back. And it won't do timeline until you complete your ingest. Right? Because timeline usually goes on report and it has to have also complete data. Does yours tell you how long you have left? Which number?
It's.
Oh, okay, for the user content. Yeah, there used to be an option for that too. If you find any suspicious, it will be under score. Yeah, there used to be a folder called user content suspected, but now it would be underscore. So if you have a bad score or a score that has a bad item, so basically it ranks the file. So look underscore and it would list like bad item or suspicious item. Yeah, they just label it differently on the newer version of the software. So this has been changed to click on score and then click suspicious. Item or bad item. So you might not find anything on that list. I have one item. It only shows that it's an encrypted item, so we don't know. So I'm going to change that question. So for 43, look under score. See if you have any suspicious item or bad item. And if it is, what kind of file is it? And then you can see if you can check the metadata on it when it was last modified. So I don't have any kind of last modification on the suspicious item, only because I think it's encrypted. It does say that it's encrypted, so it's not able to view. Okay, how far did most of you get? Did you have things populating? Were you able to answer some of these questions? Okay, so I'll tell you what, if you got the majority of it, if you have gotten to maybe 40 something, 40, and if you want to proceed, you can also cancel the process so you can do the timeline. But what you can do is if you want to continue it, you can attempt this outside of class, or if you can stop where you are. So if you can get to step 40, that will be ideal for me, right? If you pass that, that's great. So the rest is just to show you how to really look at your, if there's any kind of specific information that would relate to, other areas like child abuse or geolocation, which we probably won't find much there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel these. And so that way I can, and you have to cancel them individually, right? And sometime it would take several attempts to do so. Okay. So once you click the little taskbar green, right, to show, you can click the little button on the right to cancel them. At this time, then you can generate a timeline. See if it will work. Okay. And then you can also generate the report. So once you have the report, then you can read the report. So as you can see, what we started at 5, a little bit after 5, I want to say 5:15. And let's say 3 hours later, you barely finished with an Android image, right? So you have to give it a lot of time. Now I ran this image on my regular laptop that has a lot more core than your virtual machine, and it does take about a couple of hours. So your virtual machine is incredibly slower than a regular powerful computer, so you would see that it's going to take a long time. So the whole point is to show you how you can look at accounts information, looking at some photo information, and your files, okay? But like I said, it's okay if you stop at about 40. If you've gotten further, that's fine, okay? If you're able to finish, that will be great. But so I'm at the last part. I cancel my scan so I can do a timeline, and then I click the double arrow down. You can click tools, and then you can do generate report. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, generate reports under tools. And it takes a little bit to. Now you can do an HTML, and we talked about this before, right? You can also do a text file report. If you do a summary report, you have to read it in Excel. All right, have a good night. If you're done, see you next week. Yeah, you can. Yeah, use it on a regular computer and then let me know. You can submit that. It's a lot quicker on a regular computer. Bye. The reason why we're using the VMs, we can't run the actual process in the regular classroom computer. So I exported everything into a report. See? It's actually pretty nice. And I did an HTML report. So it gives me all the phone number. Voila. Just whatever you see on the pane, and then your case summary.
It's,
Oh, okay. Did it work?
yeah, it's a work for my adapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'll put it in the back. All right, I'm gonna end the video, but like I said, if you stop at 40, that's okay. Or you can go further.